All right, we'll stay with Minnesota for just a bit longer and turn our attention to another key player. This guy, Governor Tim Walz, who's taking increasingly desperate measures in a vain attempt to control the political fallout from his failure to monitor fraud in his state's welfare system. Walz says he's now introducing a brand new statewide fraud prevention program to keep something similar from happening in the future, but critics say the governor's hollow gesture is simply a case of too little, and much too late. In a vain attempt to bolster his new agency's credibility, Walz is handing control of the program to a no-nonsense former judge with a background in criminal apprehension. Be careful, though, Governor. He might actually apprehend you. And according to that new director, the governor has guaranteed him the freedom and the autonomy to do whatever it takes to rein in the damage, fix what he can, and solve this mess once and for all. Additionally, the embattled governor says they've contracted an outside forensics company to put together some sort of anti-fraud toolkit that'll help state agencies identify any potential risks before they get any worse. Yeah, well, they're already pretty bad. I don't know how much worse it could get. In the meantime, Walz continues to face national scrutiny for his failure to prevent the theft of nearly $1 billion from a number of different state welfare programs, including massive scams, all related to housing, childcare, and feeding hungry children. It's called an epic fail. Walz now says the entire ordeal took place during the pandemic when the Biden administration removed a bunch of federal guardrails allowing criminals to take advantage of Minnesota's generosity. Good job. Throw the former president under the bus. We like that. He also says that he takes full responsibility for what happened, that he'll never apologize for making Minnesota one of the safest states in the union during COVID. Well, it's kind of debatable. And I think all states were safe during COVID because there was a lockdown. Nobody could go anywhere. So crime kind of went down nationwide, to my recollection. Hey, for their part, Minnesota Republicans say the governor's fraud prevention program should simply be his resignation. They also say you don't need a statewide integrity director when people are doing their jobs right in the first place. That makes sense to me. In the meantime, Walz is facing increasingly stiff headwinds in his goal to win a third consecutive term as Minnesota governor. That better not happen. And he now has a new challenger, this smiling guy, my fellow entrepreneur and fervent Trump supporter, a guy called Mike Lindell. Yeah, now tossing his hat in the ring and declaring that he's hoping to score the Republican nomination and face off against the governor in next year's election. I think in the old days, they said a chicken in every pot. This time, a pillow on every bed. Thank you, Mike Lindell, to the rescue. Final thought, and this is the News Roundup Lowdown. Now, pay no attention to me, but when the bank vault's been raided while the security guard was taking a nap, it'd be a pretty dumb idea to make that guard the new head of security for the big money tank. And oddly, that's kind of exactly what's happening right now in a state that's becoming loonier than a cartoon. Under the expert leadership, the tutorialship of this guy, Minnesota's golden child, Governor Tim Walz, his state has suffered a devastating level of fraud. A number of cretins have gotten rich, and this never should have happened. But now he says, trust me, yeah, the fix is in. He's putting in place a new whiz-bang program, and it's going to be run by a numbers guy with fine credentials, a dapper suit, and a briefcase. Not a backpack, but a briefcase. So it sounds kind of official to me. The Timber, yeah, he's on the case. Not the briefcase, but the other case. And he wants all Minnesotans to put their faith in him to ensure that he'll do all he can to ensure that another $1 billion worth of taxpayer money, it doesn't get pilfered by a bunch of miscreants. I say there's a better way to ensure fiduciary responsibility, and that's by immediately switching governors, Minnesota. You deserve a state leader who's got your back and is, at all times, ready and willing to assume full responsibility for absolutely everything that happens in your state. Hey, Davy Cakes, too little, too late, or Governor Timbo? No problem. He's got this all squared away. What do you say?
Well, Bill, he's on the job right now, but it sure looks like that with all this scandal, that My Pillow guy could give him a real run for his money.
Yeah, I think he's got this all wrapped up. There's no way Minnesotans are going to elect that guy for a third term. The great one, Ronald Reagan, said all those years ago, trust but verify. In this case, Walz has lost everyone's trust. So we say investigate, reach a logical conclusion, and at the very least, send this guy packing. Enough is enough.